Good evening, ladies and gents. My name is Hills with the bearded, Balkan blubbermouth, and I'm discussing. And today we have what is, on one hand, amazing and very good news for the disintegration of the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusivity woke movement that has been plaguing video games. But on the other hand, something very concerning potentially, because if this happens, a lot of people, a lot of which are very good developers and people in the gaming industry, will lose their jobs. But before this video continues, if you enjoy my content, if you want to support me, please press the like or subscribe button, share the video, or if you want to support me directly, press the join button, join the DiscussThing Guild, and be one of the tier members over there. It will help me greatly in my venture into YouTube, and you'll receive awesome perks as a return. To not beat around the bush, I'll directly jump into today's article. This is from SmashJT's news website, and he had an exclusive information from a BioWare insider who says that Corinne Busche, the man pretending to be woman game director for Dragon Age the Vanguard, is out from BioWare. An additional rumor as of current day is that the Edmonton studio for BioWare is also apparently closing, but more on that a bit later. So let's just start with the article. This is Corinne Busche, the man pretending to be a woman, and the article states, the once legendary RPG studio known as BioWare has been the cornerstone of the gaming industry for decades. True, but a long line of failures between Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem, and now Dragon Age the Vanguard were troubling signs of a studio heading toward a catastrophic downfall. It's true, they haven't had a pure win in a very long time. He also explained that here he had been passed down some credible information from an inside source that Corinne Busche is leaving BioWare as a game director and moving to another career. There is an actual email transcript that Smash has placed here, and I'm gonna read it. This is from Corinne Busche. Hard to believe I'm writing these words, but here it goes. It's time for me to say goodbye. Today is my last day at BioWare and EA. After so much contemplation, I've decided to pursue a new challenge and a new project, doing what I love most. As someone who is currently working in a corporate environment, and I am at a position that I read a lot of emails and corporate correspondence between colleagues, I can already smell that this is a big pile of crap. I know the corporate language extremely well. I know what corporate lingo actually means. I have been doing it myself because the job demands it, and I can basically tell you what she means. After so much contemplation, this is basically lingo for usually we have had a discussion and the bosses don't want me there. I've decided to pursue a new challenge and a new project, doing what I love most. This is basically Corinne Busche telling, no, I am out, but don't worry about me. I just want to tell you that I'm going to be doing some other stuff, completely masking that he's been kicked out. Again, it wasn't an easy decision, as I mean it when I say I love BioWare, the Dragon Age team, and what we've all accomplished together. Again, love, but it's not an easy decision, but this decision has been made in pursuing a new challenge. Let me just tell you one thing. If you love your job, if you love doing what you're doing, if you love the team, the company, the environment, if you love your paycheck, if you love just doing what you're doing as a means to earn your money, you will never move, not by choice, or unless something very prosperous and very entertaining has been offered to you, and which means that you have to have your career evolve, and you have to have, is not saying that this is not what the dream job is. This sounds like someone who is being booted out the door and just trying to mask it with corporate lingo. It just reeks of it, and I've read too many emails like this to not sense it. Especially this sentence. My time with all of you has been a highlight of my career. What else then? Like, I understand if you're like 50, 60 and you just want to have a twilight years to just do something for yourself and you're very comfortable for your successes, but this is not the case. Dragon Age the Veilguard was a massive flop. It failed. It lost the company a lot of money, meaning as in the millions, and this is not something that you would want to sign off as the highlight of your career. I want to offer my personal thanks to you for your trust, your companionship, and for the many ways in which you've inspired me and helped me grow. I'll be eagerly waiting to see what great experiences you create next, and as a fan, I'll be rooting for you. Exactly like this whole thing here, I'll be eagerly waiting. It's basically saying, okay, I'm not going to be here anymore because they don't want me, because I cost the company too much money and I failed at my job, but you keep on going and doing what you're doing. This is basically it. This is the corporate lingo. I can almost for certain tell you that this is what Corinne Busche means. If I can leave you with any advice, it is this. And this is the portion of an email like when you're bittersweet and you're just angry, but you can't do anything about it because you know you fucked up, you know you're just not in a position to argue, but you want to have one last little blow and to give your wisdom as someone who's leaving the company and leaving a lot behind. This is what you would write. If I can leave you with any advice, it is this. We all know making games is hard. Yeah, it is hard, especially for you. It is part of why we do it, but making games is also about the people and the reliance we have on one another. And this is basically speaking, I feel betrayed, nobody supported me to stay, nobody defended me. This is basically, this is the mask, the fake politeness that all corporate language has. So take the time to celebrate the wins and lift each other up. There are no wins to celebrate. So I think that it's probably the wins that someone decided and then someone is happy that Corinne Busche is living. The challenge and the work will always be there, but the moments we have with each other are precious and few. I don't know what to make out of this last one actually, because it may sound like a lot of things, and something like this has been used for many meetings in the corporate environment. Let's stay in touch, Corinne. And yeah, Smash basically says what kind of what I've been saying, that the Jarrington departure of his comes across as someone who failed miserably at what they were doing. Exactly. And ultimately probably being ushered out the door. Exactly. This is an email of someone who is being fired. Basically, this is what you would write in corporate lingo. Injecting trans cars and woke ideology have been rejected by gamers wholeheartedly from Jump Street, so I can't really say I'm surprised. Nobody's surprised. This was just a matter of time. And yeah, Corinne Busche has had a very rough ride. But again, you get what you deserve, because this is not a kindergarten, this is real life, and a company will always want results, and those results mean financial gains. And when you're costing the company so much money, you're a liable asset. So this is it. Hopefully he realizes that and probably change his ways, and if he does have any talent for gaming and so on, to put that instead of trans ideology. I just think that if he has reached that point, unless he's an imposter, a complete imposter, then probably he does have something to offer. I'm not gonna say anything more, but yeah. And then we go to the rumor that the Edmonton office for the Edmonton studio, for BioWare is apparently closing. This is, again, currently just a rumor, but it is one of the flagship locations as mentioned by Smash JT. And I'm actually curious thing is that 5 years ago they have opened the studio of 3-story office in Edmonton, which to me is very weird, because usually in the corporate world, a lease on a building for the office is renewed every 5 years, at least in most cases in Europe. I don't know how it is in the US, but it is weird that it's exactly almost 5 years ago. And one more interesting thing I found, which is the most troubling thing, this is from 2023 actually in the GamesBeat. EOS BioWare will lay off 50 people and cut ties with unionized keywords playtesting group. This is an entirely different article. But this is, again, the studio based in Edmonton, that apparently in 2023 they have laid off 50 people. And this is when, by the way, with Dragon Age was still called Dreadwolf and not Veilguard. But the interesting thing is, why am I showing is that the studio has around 250 people. So if we count the 50 people laid off, if they haven't hired any more and boosted the crew there, this is basically 200 people who are left without a job. And in normal circumstances, 200 people, a lot of them who are developers, animators, designers, programmers, customer support crew, and whatever, they would find work pretty easily at another studio, or would just relocate to another branch of the studio. But if you lay off 200 people, if the rumor about Edmonton is true and they close the studio, this would be devastating for those 200 people, because currently what we're seeing in the gaming industry is that a lot of layoffs are happening in Microsoft as well, in other studios. Ubisoft is almost expected to close very soon, or just file for bankruptcy or sell its assets, so it's not actually actively hiring, if you know what I mean. So a job at a different studio would be very hard in these times. They can go to a smaller studio, but again, this is a limited capacity, and you also have to negotiate terms of salary, of perks, of benefits, location to work, and so on. So a lot of these people will probably have a hard time just finding job. And I know that at least half of these people are actual huge professionals that do know what they're doing and do have a passion for doing this. And I'm saying half because I want to be very conservative with that information. It might just be that all of them are very passionate and just didn't get the say in the manner when they were making Dragon Age the Veilguard. But in any case, a lot of these people are gonna have very hard time finding the job, especially in another game studio. Not to mention if you have NDA clauses and refusal to work for a competition. These are just awful stuff that might be in their contracts. And SmashJT continues that this is basically the bigger picture, which is a studio in crisis. And yes, we all know that BioWare is in trouble. BioWare is in huge trouble. He writes, this news comes amidst growing concerns about BioWare's stability. The company has struggled mightily to recapture any of its former glory, with recent projects falling far short of expectations, going to show that once again, it's not the studio that makes great games, it's the people. Untalented people make untalented games. It's a brutal industry, and one definitely not for the weak of heart. Exactly, this is true. If you have bad people leading or directing or designing the games, this is your sure ticket that your game is going to suck. And gamers have become very critical of anything that is currently coming out, and they'll continue to be so for the foreseeable future. So you don't get any more excuses and free passes as a company, no matter big or small. He also mentions that the Mass Effect sequel that we're waiting to receive some updates on is now remaining enshrouded in uncertainty, while internal restriction and a growing emphasis on DEI initiatives have been rapidly destroying a once treasured studio in game. Yes, when you have what you had in Dragon Age Veilguard, and when you try to make such a huge franchise into what Dragon Age the Veilguard is, basically that's what you're gonna get. And now you have the loss of a lot of faith from gamers. And Mass Effect, if it actually comes out, it'll be very criticized, and it would be looked under a microscope for anything that gamers don't want. Like, I have talked about this in my previous video where I addressed the extremism in gaming, is that it's very easy to be very extreme about your views and just very critical about anything that you might not like, especially if you're in current times and the nerves are very strong, high, and you just don't have any tolerance like you did before. And I've talked about Mass Effect before, and I do think that if they kind of take the lessons they learned from Dragon Age the Veilguard, they will probably have a successful game potentially, but this remains to be seen if the game actually comes out. To me, for sure, Corinne Busche's departure and him just leaving the company and not being involved in BioWare is a good step potentially if the company continues to actually work and make games, and if the company has learned the lessons that they need to learn and put the emphasis on quality and on what gamers want. If they did that, they might recover. If they don't, well, you see what's happening with Ubisoft. Basically the same is gonna happen. Gamers are no longer blindly loyal to a company, they're loyal to good games and to people who provide them with good entertainment. That's where the loyalties currently lie. So if any company wants to have loyal fan base, they should do just that and remove all the unnecessary appendages that they have stuck to them in the recent years. Anyways, that's all I have for this video today. What do you think about this information? Do you think Corinne Busche leaving BioWare is good? Do you think the Edmonton office closing is actually real, or is it just an unfounded rumor? Place your opinions and your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, press the like and subscribe buttons. Join me on the DiscussThing Guild and become a member. And if you want to support homeless animals and animals in shelters, press the Patreon link down in the description below. 100% of the proceeds that we get there go for food, veterinary care, housing, and warmth for the furry friends that live outside. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Hiasu, this was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.